Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime and Tarot. So I've talked about this case before, and I said that I wanted to just talk to you guys that don't know too much about this case. I've been following this case for 2 years. So we're going to be talking about the Vallow case, and we're going to start at the beginning so that everybody is on the same page, because we are awaiting their trials that haven't happened yet. Lori just had a hearing, and it appears that we may be going to trial this year in October. Hey, Mal. Oh, you got great news. Okay, before we start, let's hear your great news. Because I'm gonna be showing you guys some videos and stuff so we can get familiar with the characters in this case. There are many. This is one of the very rare cases where I looked at it and I was confused. I could not figure out how this person was connected to this person. There's a lot of characters, okay? And we're going to get through them. Not in this live stream. We're going to start it with this live stream, but there's going to be more live streams about this because there is no way that I can cover this case in a single live stream. We would be here for hours. We'd be here till noon, honestly. So we're going to start out now. I don't know if you're typing your great news or not, but okay. Yes, she is. I don't know if you heard, but I just heard last night Linda, our buddy, old pal, turned in her blood badge and walked away from the cult. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Linda was properly jumped out. She's not in the gang anymore, and you know she's from what I heard, Mal, she's getting her tattoos removed as we speak, laser surgery, from what I hear. You didn't hear that from me, but you know, so she's getting the blood drop taken out from underneath her eye. Okay, Mal, don't start with me, okay? Don't do this because you know me. I'll go right off topic and we'll go to something completely different. Okay, so I want to share my screen with you guys because we are going to watch Lori Vallow being hunted down in Hawaii. Okay, so Mal got me off here, but it's okay. Okay, where is this? Nope, that's not what we're looking for. Where is my tab at? That's not what we're looking for either. Where the heck is my tabs at? I had them all ready to go. That's really annoying. Okay. Neat. And sorry. I don't know why they're not pulled up. Okay, so we're gonna watch this. And again, this is Nate Eaton from East Idaho News. This is where this case is going to be tried. And
I'm Nate Eaton with EastIdahoNews.com in Kauai, where Chad and Lori Daybell were served with 2 search warrants just hours ago. Law enforcement officers from eastern Idaho, along with federal agents and the Hawaii Police Department, pulled Lori and Chad over. They were driving a black SUV. They pulled into this resort where I'm standing. They put Chad into one vehicle, Lori into another. That's when their vehicle was seized, and they had no way to get home. We had a chance to ask them so many questions that need answers. Lori, Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. Can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your kids?
That's Lori.
No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say? You're over here in Hawaii? Where are your children? Now, why don't you just give us a comment? Just tell us where they are.
That's Chad.
Where are Lori's kids? What happened to Tammy, Chad?
Tammy is Chad's wife.
Tammy. Why have you guys been in Hawaii for so long? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers? That's great. That's great that they're praying for you, praying for your kids. Why? You have nothing to say? Did you do something to your children? Are your children still alive? That's a simple question. I've got 3 kids of my own. I can tell you every minute where my kids are at. Where are your children? What do you guys plan to do now? You have 5 days to get your children in front of a judge in Rexburg, then what? Are you guys innocent of any crimes? Have you committed any crimes? Chad, you guys have a lot to say on your podcast. You don't have anything to say now? Lori? Do you believe that you were instructed by God or others to do something for your children? If you could give a message to them, what would you say? Listen, if you just talk to us, we'll leave you alone. Tammy's family's very worried. Lori, your mother, Kay, came out. Kay and Larry, they're offering a $20,000 reward for your children, and you're over here on the beach. This is your chance to tell your story. Nothing you want to say? One last chance right here. Anything you want to say to the people in Idaho? Lori, you have a lot of cash there in your baggie. Were you guys planning to leave Hawaii? Were you planning to take off? And with that, Chad and Lori darted into this resort, and they still have not come out. Now, police have not said what they are searching for in that SUV or in their home, but one thing that was not found is Lori's children. JJ and Tylee are still missing. Tomorrow, we will have much more from Hawaii. For now, I'm Nate Eaton reporting for EastIdahoNews.com.
Okay. So, oh gosh, you too. Okay, so I don't know what's on my mic plate. I didn't think it was on. Okay, so there you see Nate Eaton tracking them down in Hawaii because this was in January of 2020. By this point, Tylee and JJ were literally buried in Chad Daybell's backyard. They had been dead for months. Okay? They were dead in September of 2019. And again, that footage that you just watched with Nate Eaton tracking her down in Hawaii, was in January. So they both knew full well that both of those children were dead and buried. So you see their demeanor. They had nothing to say. When Nate Eaton brought up what happened to Tammy, Tammy was Chad's wife. Okay? So we're going to watch the next thing. And hopefully that is pulled up because I had all of this ready to go. But for some reason, hang on. So the next thing that we are going to watch is what kicked this entire case off. And that was JJ Vallow, 7 years old. Okay. Lori and Charles Vallow, that was her husband, they adopted JJ as a baby. Okay. And I'm not going to get too far into that at the moment. We're going to have to wait because this is part of putting together this really wild family tree, so to speak. So, but we're going to watch what kicked all of this off, and that was Kay Woodcock, JJ's grandmother, calling Lori and trying to get a hold of her to speak to JJ for months, about 3 months. And Lori, was dodging her because JJ was already deceased. That's why she would not let her speak to him because she couldn't. So Kay called in a wellness check. Now, these cops were going in blindly. They, went to Lori's apartment and, were asking, where is your son? The grandmother has called in a wellness check and we would like to see him. Well, she lies. And I'll let you guys listen to that. Body cam, Lori Vallow, wellness check. I'm sorry, I really did have all this pulled up, and I am unsure why it's not still there. But let me get to that. Okay. So this is the very first wellness check, and what you guys are going to be watching is a preliminary hearing for Chad Daybell. Okay, this is not the trial, but you're going to see Larry and Kay Woodcock, again, JJ's grandparents, sitting directly behind Chad Daybell listening to this audio because they are the ones that called in this wellness check, and this is how it went. Lori lied her butt off. Okay. So we're going to listen to that, and we're going to watch them in open court of this audio. One sec. Let's back up. All right. So here we go. This monster right here, this is Chad Daybell. In my opinion, he looks like a frog. And he's a monster. I will just tell you guys, he's an absolute monster. This lady here is Kay Woodcock. These are the grandparents of J.J. Vallow and Larry Woodcock. And as you see, they sit right behind him. And they do that on purpose. They said that they wanted him to know that they are behind him every second of this trial, to make their presence known to him. And I hope that it makes this monster feel as uncomfortable as it should. But we're going to listen to this audio of the police going and doing this wellness check. And again, they know nothing about what's going on. They have no idea that Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell have murdered 4 people at this point. They have no idea. So you're going to listen to that. Notice Chad has no expression.
As myself and Lieutenant Ball approach the apartment number 175 for the first time on the 26th.
That is the officer that did this wellness check. So they're knocking on her door.
Hi, Lori. Lori and Lieutenant Ball, Police Department. How are you? You got me? Are you all alone or that helper?
My brother's here.
Okay.
Okay, when she says her brother's there, she means Alex Cox. The surname of Lori's family is Cox. They're the Cox family. Okay, so, there's a joke in there and I'm not going to say it. But Alex Cox was there and he helped commit these murders with Chad Daybell, the frog, and Lori. He is also 100% a monster. So that's who she's talking about, Alex Cox.
So, we're here.
This is a big mess. I just talked to the guy up there.
And what did he ask you?
He was just saying that he wanted to do a well check on JJ.
So, JJ would be where?
He's in Arizona.
Okay, so you just heard her say, and listen to her voice. She's trying to act normal. Again, she is well aware that JJ is dead and buried in Chad's backyard. And she's just laughy and, oh, you're here to do a wellness check on JJ. Oh, he's in Arizona with my friend Melody. Now, Melody plays a huge role in this case, and we will get to her. But this is the lie that she's going to tell these police officers.
Who's he with in Arizona?
He's with one of my friends in Arizona.
Oh, hey, you got no bat?
No, what do you want?
No, come here. Might be coming.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
what's the friend's with?
My friend Melanie. Her son has autism. Her name's Melanie. I gave him all the information on the phone.
Okay, so he can call him. His birthday.
Yeah, what is all this?
We're a little concerned because, the officers who were here earlier were checking, and they got a bad vibe, like something's going on here because nobody knew anything about his child. They weren't talking.
It's because a lot of stuff that's gone on. We don't know is a lot of stuff.
Well, that's why we're concerned because it just was kind of weird.
It is very weird. I've had to move around a lot. One of my brothers is trying to kill me. Not the brother.
Okay. She has not had to move around a lot. She chose to move around a lot. She is from Arizona. She moved up to Idaho for this frog-looking guy. And the grandparents here, Kay and Larry, and they'll break your heart. I'll tell you, I love these grandparents. Such strong people. But
He's kind of my protector.
oops.
But
Okay, we'll just keep listening.
my brother was in with my husband who was trying to kill me for my $2 million life insurance.
Yeah, so she's saying that her brother is trying to kill her. Now, she's talking about her brother, Adam Cox. Adam Cox was absolutely not trying to kill her, okay? Adam Cox actually is probably the only sane person in their family. He worked with police. He knew that she was, batshit crazy, basically. And he tried to say something. He tried to say something to the family. They refused to listen to him. So she's just outright lying that, he was trying to kill her, and that is not true.
No.
So a lot of stuff has gone on in this last year. It's been a horrible year for us. I had to move around. And
Yeah, it's been a horrible year for her. Okay. So this audio, as you can see at the top of the screen, was from November 26th, 2019. In July of 2019, Alex Cox, her brother, murdered her husband, Charles Vallow. And I'm going to show you body cam footage from Charles Vallow, and you will feel very bad for him because this man did everything to save his own life and the children's life, and they are all dead. But okay.
And so I was going to move back to Arizona, put my son back into school there because I tried to put him in school here, public school in Kennedy.
Okay.
He went for 2 months. We tried it, but he had such a hard time. Now, the person who called is my sister-in-law, but she's his natural grandmother. He's adopted by us. Okay, so her son, who's a drug addict, had a baby with a girl who's a drug addict, and they took him from, CPS took him. Gave him to the grandmother. She came back, and then she wanted us to.
Okay, so what she's saying is true. That Kay, this is Kay, Charles's sister, Charles was Lori's husband. And again, Lori and Charles adopted JJ as a baby because Kay's son was a drug addict, and so was the JJ's biological mother. And so Charles and Lori had no children together, and they adopted JJ. Unfortunately, she told people that he was a drug baby. He's a drug baby that she adopted. I have never seen an ounce of emotion from this woman whenever she speaks of JJ at all. None. Okay, so continuing on.
To adopt him, which we did. And we loved
By
him.
us.
My husband and I, who died earlier this year.
Okay.
He passed away. Since he passed away, she's been trying to fight me for him and being really horrible to me. And
He did not just pass away. Her brother shot him in cold blood inside of her house, and she threw a pool party later that evening. I kid you not.
she's called the paternal friend.
Okay, thank you.
That makes
That's
it
what I need. The paternal grandmother.
He has autism and ADHD.
Yes, JJ had autism. Okay.
He doesn't really talk to people. Like he's very special needs. So I had him in special needs school there. She was trying to. So what happened was, my husband, who we were married for 15 years and had raised all these 5 kids together, switched his life insurance policy to her, right? To his sister.
Okay, so let's stop right there. Now, again, remember, these cops are coming just to do a wellness check on JJ, just to see where he's at. Can we see him? Where is he? And she starts going into, my husband passed away. Well, he was murdered by your brother. Charles was smart enough before he was killed. He tried to tell several police officers that she was trying to kill him. And unfortunately, they did not take him seriously. They just didn't. And we've all questioned, the people that have watched this case from the beginning, that if they had listened to him, maybe everyone else would still be alive, including him. But what she starts to go into is the fact that Charles, before he was killed, he switched his life insurance policy to his sister Kay behind Lori's back. So Lori thought that she was going to kill Charles and get this $1 million life insurance policy. Well, she was in a shock of her life when she called to collect on that, and they told her that the beneficiary had been changed to Kay Woodcock. So she hates Kay, okay?
Who got $1 million when he died, and we got nothing. For me to raise JJ, and all the kids got nothing, and everybody got nothing. She got $1 million. So I knew she was going to try to sue me for him, or, yeah, because she now has this $1 million, so she can hire people to help him. him, and I have nothing. So
But you have legal custody.
he's my son. I adopted him.
Right.
It was 2 years. We had him from the time he was 8 months old until 2 years old. She does nothing that wants to cause me trouble. So I don't tell people the truth about where we are, what we're doing, because of those reasons. So I look like a suspect, but I am not a good person. Raised all of my kids. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do in life, but everyone's causing me trouble right now. So
We don't want to cause trouble. How long have you been here?
we only been here since September.
Okay.
We moved up here in September. My daughter was going to BYUI.
Your daughter goes to BYU?
Yeah.
Does she live here?
She's saying that Tylee goes to BYUI. Tylee is dead. As this woman is speaking, Tylee is dead and again buried in Chad Daybell's backyard. Okay?
So it's been a nightmare. But I'm going to go back to Arizona so I can get back into special needs school. He couldn't do the school here. It was too hard for him. He would scream and cry, came to school. The principal would have to come out, try to drag him out of the car. Like, it's too hard. But I just don't tell people where I am. I don't tell her where I am ever.
Okay.
And she doesn't have any legal rights to anything. Like, she's been horrible to me since my husband died.
My understanding, she never called you to try to get the child, hey, I'm interested in the child back, but
I know,
that.
she sends me these emails with, like, the date and, like she's putting up court stuff, like, just documenting. I haven't heard from him in all this time, and so I've told her that he's fine. But
See, we haven't heard any of that as far as,
I'm just saying she's doing this as part of that, is my understanding.
and our only concern in this whole thing
Is that he's fine?
is the child.
I got it.
And so that's where we're at on the, and then
So
we're just a little weirded out when, and I understand now that we've heard your side of the story.
it's awful. I feel like I'm being tracked all the time. Like, why are police coming to my door? What did I do?
Why are they coming to my house? Well, because your children are dead, ma'am. They didn't even know this at this point. Again, they were just going for a wellness check, and she says all of this. And she's going to say more. You're going to hear her. She is married to Chad Daybell at this moment. While she's talking to these police, she is married to him. Now listen to what she says. Okay?
They said they were out visiting with two guys, and I was sure, what's your brother?
Yeah.
Who was the other one? The other guy they were visiting with? There were two. Well, we had two detectives over here trying to,
Looking for you a
Oh,
little while ago.
because I was at the store.
and they ran into, well, probably one of your brothers.
My brother and his friend, probably.
Who's
And
that?
Louie. Chad.
Checking around? Okay. All right.
It's
My brother and his friends. I will remind you guys what I just said. She was actually married to him at this moment, okay? But she's to cops. She's just saying, oh, that's my brother and his friends. And so we're going to listen more.
It's just a mess. It's constantly causing me trouble.
Chad, D-A-Y-B-E-L.
He's an author.
He's an author.
Does he live like out in the, isn't that the Chad Daybell that, hey, is one passed away recently? Is that him?
I don't know.
But he is, Chad, D-A-Y-B-E-L.
Yeah, that sounds familiar as author.
I don't know. I think I know one is. He's got a couple of daughters.
He has lots of kids.
Okay.
He has 5 children.
All right. Well, anything else? Sorry, Bob.
Thank you.
We don't mean to be a
I'm
problem.
sorry that people are constantly knocking on my door. But I do, I'm looking for me, and I just don't let me know, so.
Have you had problems? I think we only had.
Well, the reason I'm living is because the brother that was going to tell me that we found emails and texts with my ex-husband, my husband at the time, keep showing up here, so he found out where I was, and he was knocking on my door.
No, this was your brother.
One of my brothers.
You showed up here and was knocking on your door.
He lives in Kansas.
And you said something about you were getting threatening emails?
Well, no, just after my husband passed, I found emails and texts between them that they were planning all this stuff to get rid of me.
You don't need to worry about that coming over.
Well, that's why I'm moving back. And I'm not going to be in a place. I'm going to live with my friend, Melanie. Don't call anybody. Her name is because I don't want anything in my name. I put the apartment in my name, but I'm staying over here with my brother because he trusts me.
Okay. I just want, if he shows back up, you can call. Take care of
Well,
it.
that's what I'm saying. I just like, it's just a nightmare. I mean, I canceled the insurance policy since my husband passed, so there's no money. What am I going to do with it? Like, what? Give me the money.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you have a problem, so back up to 3 calls, we'll come and run them off or something. Okay. All right.
Okay, so what happened after that, after they went to the house? They followed up on what she told them, where she said that that JJ was right away. And what happened was that night, right after this happened, that the cops show up and looking for JJ, her and Chad hightail it to Hawaii. They took off. They left everything there, and they went to Hawaii. So the cops, get a hold of Melody Gibb, who was Lori's best friend, and again, we will get into her later. But they get a hold of her, and they see that JJ is not there with her, and that was a complete lie. So the next day, they go back to talk to Chad and Lori, or Lori again, about JJ, and they find that she's gone, and nobody knows where she went. And as I said, she went to Hawaii. So that's why you see the first video that I showed where Nate Eaton was basically chasing them, down. So we're going to look at Charles Vallow, because I'm going to try to introduce you guys to all of the characters here. So Charles Vallow, again, this poor guy, this poor man. He really did try. He tried to tell them. So we're going to watch two different body cam footages of poor Charles here. So hang on just a second. I'm going to let these ads play out, and then we're going to watch that. And the first one I'm going to show you guys is she was so vindictive. He had gone away on business. He was a businessman, and he traveled for business. So she went to the airport with Melanie Gibb, that best friend that I had mentioned, and she took his truck. So he gets off the plane, and he has no vehicle there. She also took everything out of the house. She was completely gone. Took money out of the bank account, all of that. And so he calls the police. He has no truck. He can't get into his house. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna watch this. Just a second. Share my screen again. Oh, am I still sharing my screen? Okay. Just a sec. Gotta love technology. Okay, so here's Charles Vallow, and I always felt bad watching this because the cops were not too nice to him. They just really were, and it's kind of sad, again, like I said, because if they had taken him seriously, maybe all of these people would still be alive. But let me expand the screen, sorry. Okay, so here's the cops walking up to their house. This is their home.
So what's going on tonight?
Here's Charles.
I can't get in touch with some kids. How old are your kids? 6 and a half and 16. Okay.
He's talking about JJ and
How
Tylee.
long have you been trying? 2 days. Okay. She's lost her mind. I don't know how to say it. Reality is, she thinks she's a resurrected being and a god, and remember the $144,000 she's coming to Jesus coming next year. She took all the money out of her bank account today. My truck is gone from the airport. She was the airport guy. I just flew down to Houston, from Dallas. Sent it out. So where's your truck? I was trying to pick me up. I was at the CSI 504. I was just bridges or something. 504. So you did the petition? Yeah, they ordered pickup. Okay. What time did you do that? I don't have it. Okay. So what makes her a danger to herself and to others? They murdered me, killed me. She threatened to murder you? Yes. How did she do that? My bishop right there in the car. He was on the phone with me today, but she said, I want to have you destroyed. That's what she said there. Okay, that's not a threat to kill you. That's not a threat to kill you. Okay. Really bad police work. That is absolutely a threat to kill him, and she made good on it. Yesterday was a threat to kill me. Okay. What did she say yesterday? She said, you're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you do with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers. Okay. Okay? I said, I'm going to kill you too. I'm going to kill you. Yesterday. So she's speaking as a spiritual being. She's not here. She knows her reality. Is this just all recent, or Congratulations, I'm not Charles. You're not Charles, you're Nick Schneider.
Everything he's saying is true and is documented through text. There was a giant dump in this case of text messages and all of that. Lori, while in prison, she spent an entire year for her mental health because she believed that she was a resurrected being. She was a part of the 144,000, that Charles was somehow possessed. He was not himself anymore. You may have heard about this case with them calling them zombies, because that was like their code word. If you were a zombie, that means you needed to die because somebody else had taken over your body and you were no longer you. So, Charles was a zombie. Charles was not Charles. Charles was Nick Schneider. Okay. Now, all of this information being fed to this crazy woman is coming from Chad Daybell. When she said that he was an author, he is a really terrible one. He started his own publishing company, a small one, and he writes books. And let me tell you, I could put you guys to sleep right now reading one of those books, like one page. You would probably be snoring. But he said that he had visions. Basically, that he was a psychic, that he could see things, he knew things. He could tell who was, possessed and who wasn't. And so Lori started to read Chad Daybell's books, and she became enamored with these books and with him. And she went to, the first time she ever met him, she went with Melody Gibb, the best friends, to a conference where Chad was, hawking his books. And she went up and introduced herself, and they hit it right off. We will get to other stuff later, but Chad, in a very long text message that he wrote to Lori, described basically their entire relationship, and it was cringe-worthy at best. So we'll continue with poor Charles here.
She gets his name from. She got all this stuff. These people in Utah who tell her how many past lives she's had and probation she's had. She's married to Moroni way back when. She's also married to James the Just.
Yeah, this is all foreign to me, so.
It's hard.
Well, I'm not LDS.
It's crazy stuff.
I know you're using LDS terms here,
But it's just
Okay.
she's nonsensical.
Okay.
And I haven't seen them.
the older one or the younger one?
He'll be 6.5 years old.
Okay,
I want to do this now. You got to pick up order, not correct?
we do.
Okay. If she doesn't answer, what do we do?
If she doesn't answer, we can't enforce the order.
Can I break into my house?
Do you live here?
Yes, I do.
Do you guys have any orders of protections against you? No police reports?
No.
Okay. So how does she pose a threat to your children?
I don't know what she's going to do with them. I don't know if she's going to flee with them. She's going to hurt them.
You don't even know if she's here, right?
Okay, I can't. All the cars are there. I just don't know. She's not the garage door.
I know, but hold on. What I'm saying is you normally park two vehicles in the garage, inside the garage. Okay. So it's a possibility that her car and your truck are inside there?
I don't think she did my truck in a 600.
Charles very much believed that she was going to harm the children, and she absolutely did. She killed them, in fact. Linda, is there a trial date yet? Well, Lori just had a hearing, and oddly, she waived her right to, or she did not waive her right to a speedy trial. So we may be looking at a trial in October of this year. The problem with that is that Lori and Chad are being tried together, okay? And they set Chad's trial date for January of 2023. But if Lori's going to go to trial in October, that means that Chad is going to have to go to trial in October. And Chad's lawyer, John Pryor, good grief, you guys, he is a piece of work. Okay, this man is something else. He's not going to go for this. I know he's not going to go for this. So I expect to see more delays in the case until they get it figured out of what's the best time for both of them to be tried together. Am I still sharing my screen? Okay. Okay. Sorry. So let me see what some other questions are. So you guys got to see the grandparents, Kay and Larry. You guys got to see Lori and Chad. And you guys also got to see Charles. I'm going to show you one other thing. This is after Charles was murdered, same day, okay? And the cops, obviously show up to the house because he was killed in cold blood inside of her house. So Lori, hold on a second. I'm really kind of irked that my stuff is not showing up. Okay, let's see. I think this is it. Yes, it is. Okay. So this is her demeanor. Okay. After her husband is murdered just hours or before. This is Lori. And it's disturbing because you are going to see her laugh. So here's the cops showing up at her house. Oh, wait, am I sharing my screen? Yes. Yes, okay. Here we go. Cops showing up at her house after her husband has been shot. Oh, wait, they might be talking to Alex here. Speed this up a little bit.
You know, no weapons? No weapons. All right, come on out this way. I'm going to have you have a seat right here on the curb.
Okay, this is actually the wrong footage. This is Alex. I guess I'm going to go ahead and show you guys because he's also a prime person in this case. He is also dead. Okay, the last phone call he made was to Chad Daybell. Chad Daybell gave him a prayer and he magically died afterwards. I have my suspicions that Alex committed suicide. But this is right after he shot Charles.
18 seats secure. We got the gentleman out. Have fire rolling.
So they're gonna go into the house and see this. And this is this poor man that you just saw telling the police she's gonna kill me. Please notice how bare this home is. Okay. She had only been here 3 weeks. That's Charles. Trigger warning, okay? He is deceased. So they're going to go through the house, and so we're going to fast forward through that. But they are going to talk to Alex. Here's Alex. Okay. Why is this blurred out?
Charles is the husband of the occupants here.
Okay, I have no idea why this is blurred out. It's really weird. Hang on a second. Let me look up something else. Here, wow, that's not it. I'm sorry, guys. I really did have this stuff pulled up. Yes. Okay. Let's watch this crazy woman.
As experts in online education, Purdue
And see what she says to the
gives you
cops.
all the
It's
flexibility
just
you need.
astounding.
Good evening. 7-year-old JJ Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan have been missing for more than 5 months now, and their mother, Lori Vallow, still refuses to cooperate with police.
She's been in Hawaii with her new husband, Chad Daybell, for the past several weeks. Now the latest Dateline episode is shedding new light on what happened to JJ's father and Lori's ex-husband, Charles Vallow.
Our Gretchen Parsons has been closely following this story from the start. She joins us in studio now with another disturbing development. Gretchen.
Well, Mark and Kim, as we've reported, Lori's brother Alex Cox shot and killed Charles this past July in Arizona. But now new details about what else Lori did that day and how she reacted is raising some red flags.
Is he hurt? Is he blood? Yeah, there's blood. He's not moving.
On July 11th, 2019, Lori Vallow's brother Alex Cox called 911 to report he had just killed Charles Vallow, JJ's father and Lori's estranged husband.
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense. He came at me with a bat.
Lori, JJ, and Tylee were all home at the time. As police questioned Lori, she didn't appear rattled or upset, even laughing at one point.
How long have you lived here?
Like 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
That's what a neighbor said.
Gotcha.
Like, hi neighbor, sorry.
Hi,
Arizona
neighbor, sorry.
detectives say throughout Lori's interview with police, she wasn't fazed.
It was kind of like a happy-go-lucky. She was just kind of smiling. She was talking about how Tylee was going to go to BYU, Hawaii, and it was just a very, very nonchalant. You would have thought that we just, recovered their stolen vehicle.
Cox is shown here dabbing at a wound he says he got after Charles hit him with the bat.
It definitely didn't appear that he was struck with, an extreme amount of force to a baseball bat. Charles was a very physically fit man.
He wasn't only a physically fit man. Charles was a baseball player. Okay? And he was very fit. If he had hit that guy in the back of the head with a bat, he would. You should see this cut. It's tiny. Okay?
And actually a former college ball player.
Yeah.
So it didn't appear that it was a huge strike to the head.
The same day Charles was killed, neighbors say Lori threw a pool party.
How can everyone be so calm and, see?
This is Annie Cushing. She is also on YouTube. And let me tell you, this woman has put a dashboard together like no other. She has literally everything about this case. I feel for her. Her brother, Joseph Ryan, was Lori Vallow's third husband. And again, she is Tylee's aunt.
Seemingly so unaffected.
That's Tylee's aunt, Annie Cushing. She believes that what Lori and Cox told police was a cover-up. Because the children were witnesses,
that is JJ and Tylee.
That's why they're missing.
I do wonder with Tylee if she was asked to toe the line to keep everyone out of prison.
The day after Charles was killed, Lori told Charles's two sons from a previous marriage that their father had died via text message.
And I couldn't believe that she did that in that way. I mean, I wish she would have called me and said, can you please don't hold? But to do it so brutal through a text was just, it was horrible.
And of course,
so yes, she actually did that. She texted Charles's two sons through text message to tell them that he was dead. Okay. When you think about evil, those two people, and you know what? We're going to pull up this footage as well. Oh, Mal, welcome to the membership, girlfriends. It's good to see you. Did Linda really PayPal you that $20 or no? Linda, are you in here stirring up trouble in my chat again? What are you doing? Okay, let me scroll up and see you guys' comments because we've looked at quite a bit here. So yes, Linda, I feel so bad for the grandparents. Yes, they will break your heart. Yes, she had a party. She absolutely did, a pool party, in fact. Where is Cop wearing his can? What did Pink say? I don't see how anyone could hurt or kill anyone. I helped a man get up when he fell. He had a nosebleed and got blood on my hand, and I started upchucking. Oh my gosh, I know. Blood's not really my thing either. Pink. But we are going to look at footage from, and this is probably going to make you sick. You guys are funny. We're gonna hang on. We're gonna look at footage of Charles and Lori getting married in Hawaii. And let me just tell you guys, they had killed both of her children. Okay, killed Chad's wife of 29 years that he had 5 children with. They had killed these 3 people, and Charles, and then they got married. They got married, I think. Tammy died on October 19th, 2019, and I believe Lori and Chad got married on November 5th of 2019. So that short of a period of time that they got married. So, and listen, when you see these two on the beach of Hawaii, it's disgusting. I mean, you would never think in a million years that these people had just murdered 4 people. Okay. So, but they sure enough did. Let's see. God, I'm really irritated that my stuff is not up. So annoying. Let's see where this goes. Because I want to see. Okay, here we go. Yeah. All right. Yep, it was November 5th. Okay, let me share my screen with you guys, and we're gonna watch this real quick. Yeah, a literal trail of dead people led up. And that's why this case is so convoluted, because there's so much to it. So here we go with this. November 5th, 2019, the day they got married in Hawaii.
The wedding between Lori and Chad Daybell was in Kauai.
That's right.
Were you invited?
No, I don't think anybody was there except for the 2 of them and whoever performed the services.
The photos are great, but the one thing you notice about them is it's only the bride and groom. 7-year-old son JJ is not there. Neither is 16-year-old daughter Tylee. Not at the wedding, not in Hawaii, not staying with friends or family.
JJ, say hi.
Cops are looking high and low, but they can't find him anywhere. And yet, the wedding goes on. The story and what's happening at this wedding is incredibly dark.
The urgent search for those missing Idaho
Dark is
citizens.
an
Officials say the kids
understatement.
have not been seen since September.
Good morning, Tom. This is really a mysterious one.
The story goes national. Number one, because nobody's seen these kids in weeks. What really drives this story is that the mom is completely silent, which bothers me.
It's very bizarre.
Why couldn't she just tell people where they are? Why keep it secret?
Chad, Lori, can you tell me where your kids are? Would you tell me what happened to JJ? Can you tell me where Tylee is?
Just to see her utter disregard, for people's questions.
With Lori's silent, we reached out to her family to see if they could shed any light on her behavior or the whereabouts of her kids. They agreed to sit down with us early on in the investigation. At the time, they painted a radically different picture than the one the public was seeing.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, right here. This is Lori's mother, and that's basically a great stop to this video, because this is what this woman did the entire time, was just shut her eyes like she didn't know anything was going on. Do not be fooled. Okay, they were well aware, and there's many text messages, and again, we'll get into that in a different live stream because there's a lot. But she was well aware that Lori was talking all of this crazy religious nonsense, like extreme, religion, that she was a god. She was aware of this, okay? But she paints her daughter as the perfect mother and that she knows that Lori would never do anything to harm her kids. Let's watch her because she's just as crazy.
Alex, and I'm Lori's mother. And I am very much appreciative of an opportunity to say what I know to be true about Lori. She's beautiful, she's sweet, she's kind, she's generous to a fault. Lori and Summer both took dance, and they both ended up being cheerleaders. They both love sports.
Summer is Lori's sister.
Both played on the softball team that I coached, our church softball team, for 3 years. Lori was the pitcher and would never let me take her out. It was really sad. She became a hairstylist because she loves help making people look more beautiful. But the most important thing to me is the kind of mother she is, the way she dedicated herself to her children. I realize that it looks bad.
That's Lori's sister.
I know Lori very well, and I know she would not harm her children or anyone's children.
I know Lori, and I know Lori's done everything.
Okay, we're going to stop here as well. This is Melody Pulaski, also known as Melody Boudreaux, another player in this case. She is Lori's niece. She is the daughter of Lori's oldest sister who passed away. So Lori basically was like a mother to Melody as she was growing up. Melody has done some very, very questionable things, okay? Just like Lori, she left her husband. Her husband was shot at. He was almost killed, okay, by the gang of, Lori and Chad. Luckily, that bullet missed him. She was not allowed to see her children. She married another man, Ian Pulaski, who wore a wire for the FBI and got a lot of information. And they're still married, and they have a child together. So you want to talk about crazy, but we're going to keep with this. Melody is absolutely insane, okay?
Everything she can to protect her kids. When I first started talking to her, first thing she said to me was, "Mom, you know me. You know I'm taking care of my kids."
So the way the family describes it, they describe this as a very close-knit unit, but there is something really weird. They weren't at the wedding because they didn't even know there was a wedding.
I don't think I knew that Lori married Chad Daybell until I saw it on TV.
To fully understand Lori, I think it helps to go back in time to see how her past relationships may have played a role in her current situation.
Okay, so we're going to stop there. Lori was married 5 times. 5 times. Okay, and her mother even says that she never went to any of her weddings. That says a lot. So let's look at some comments, and we will be ending this live stream soon. I feel like, you guys have seen the main characters. So, Linda, if prosecutors can't make their charges stick, they are worth nothing. So much evidence. Oh, yes. Listen, these two are going down. I have zero doubt about that. There is a mountain, a giant mountain of evidence against these two. Again, the children were buried in his backyard. So that's the first time you've seen her mom. Yes, her mother is something else. There are people that only act like good parents in front of others. Yes, well, religion plays a very big part in this because Lori was raised LDS, okay? And all of her husbands, up until Chad, were not LDS. They converted to the religion for her. But Chad grew up the same way as Lori, as far as being heavily involved in the church and his family in the church. Well, she really was attracted to that. She was really attracted to him spiritually, but he was very attracted to her sexually. So what they did was, they took LDS teachings and they ran so far into the darkness with them and distorted, but in the LDS religion, it's their entire goal for every LDS member is to become exalted. If you don't know what that means, exalted means to become like your own God. That is everyone that, men, because women are lesser than. And that's another thing that drew Lori to Chad, because Chad told her, you're a goddess. You're an equal to me. And in the LDS church, that's not the way it goes. It's very much, the men are first, and, women are underneath them. But Chad, made Lori believe that, she was equal to him and she liked that power. I do want to introduce you guys, before I end this live stream, to Melody Gibb. Because Melody Gibb is most likely going to be a star witness for the prosecution. And I have a big issue with that because, in my opinion, this woman should be locked up with them. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of Melody Gibb.
What would come about? Did that start with,
Nate Eaton.
with you or somebody
Interview
else?
her.
And how did
Yeah, it was actually my.
Hang on a second. Get through this.
In between breath. Yeah, I had.
Oh, I'm way too far on this. Okay, hang on. Back it up. All right. So we're gonna look at Melody Gibb here. And if Melody Gibb creeps you out, just know that I feel your pain. Okay.
I've been waiting 5 months to talk to you, and you've been hard to find.
I know.
Would it be fair to say that you've been hiding?
Yes.
Why?
When you realize that the people that you know and you're close to and love have been involved in something that has to do with kidnapping and people dying, you start to.
She knew. This interview was done prior to JJ and Tylee being found in Chad Daybell's backyard. And do you hear her? She already knows that they're dead. She knows all of this. But she does a really bang up job of acting like a victim. Like so naive. I'm such a naive person, and I'm just so gullible and bullcrap. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of Melody Gibb and her crazy.
To think, oh my gosh, so they got to come after me? Like, everything closes in, and you start to think about your own safety, and you start to think about what really happened, and could this really be true? I had all kinds of fears. What the media would say about me, if they would say it the way I want to say it, like I'm saying it now. I wasn't ready.
So why are you ready today?
Because I faced all the fears, and then I decided that the truth was more important than what I wanted. And I needed to do it for those that have passed on. The justice may be served.
Killed, you mean?
I think it's fair to Charles and JJ and Tammy and Tylee that someone is standing up for what happened to them.
Do you notice that she says Tylee's name last? And I'm going to tell you why she says Tylee's name last, because she did not like Tylee. Her and Tylee did not get along. I have my suspicions of why that would be. Tylee being a teenager and probably seeing her mother act like a psycho, and this is her psycho friend. So I wouldn't imagine that Tylee would probably give her a very warm welcome.
Yeah, and I care. I do care for them, and I care for the families that are involved.
No, you don't.
And is that your goal in talking today?
My goal is to speak to the things that have gone on, and also to speak to many that believe their story of some of the things we're going to talk about zombies, to being a part of the 144,000, to multiple probations. These things do need to be discussed to those that do follow those teachings. And so I have a lot of perspective on that.
Would it be fair to say
we know you
Chad
do.
and Lori better than anybody?
Probably.
And you know their beliefs. Yeah. You know their activities. You know more about this story probably than anybody else other than them.
Yeah, because she was
You told
involved.
me the other day on the phone that someone told you needed to get an attorney. And what was your response when they said, have you gotten an attorney?
Well, how I responded to you is, why do I need an attorney if I'm telling the truth? God is on my side.
So let's go back a few years and talk about Chad Daybell.
Okay.
How did you meet Chad?
The first time I met him, he was at a conference or an event speaking about his last days, dreams and visions, and I just walked up to him and introduced myself to him.
Was that in Rexburg?
I think the first time I met him might have been at a camp up in Ogden, I think. Somewhere in that area.
In northern Utah?
Northern Utah.
Were you impressed by what he had said there at the conference? Is that why you wanted to talk to him, or was it just a casual, good job?
I wanted to meet him because I thought his dreams were interesting, and so when I met him, I thought he was a really nice guy, and anytime I saw him was at an event.
At what point did you become closer than just seeing him at events or hearing him speak?
So when Lori and him met, that's when I started to get to know him a little bit more.
Tell me how you met Lori.
So I was teaching a class at church one evening, and she was there, and she introduced herself to me.
And what was that encounter like?
She was very excited to hear the things I was teaching, and so when I went out to the hallway, she came up to me and introduced herself, and she told me about a lot of personal experiences that she had that were spiritual in nature, and we just hit it off.
So from there, a friendship developed?
Yep.
And what was that relationship like?
Wow.
In the beginning,
yeah.
What was it like?
So we talked often about our experiences that we had spiritually, and we talked about some of our trials that we've overcome, and
they talked about a lot more than that. I can't wait till we get into the text messages, you guys, because they are horrendous, and that woman knew. Okay, she is very creepy, very creepy. Hi, Lisa. So we are going to end that here. You guys have seen the main players. Tomorrow, we're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper into this case until we're all the way brought up on it. Let me just show you one last thing. Let's see. I want to show you Lori today. Now, in the now. Okay. So I just saw this. This was just posted hours ago. They are seeking the death penalty against her, which made me very happy to see, because if anyone deserves it, it is absolutely this woman. So, and Chad Daybell. Let's not leave his crazy self out as well. But here's Lori. There.
Why do you choose
These darn ads. Darn monetized channels.
We have new details tonight in the murder case of former Valley mom Lori Vallow, accused of killing her own 2 children.
So prosecutors are now going for the death penalty. Kim Powell has been following this for the last couple of years. What can we expect next, Kim?
Well, as it already has been, this case is a marathon, not a sprint. While prosecutors were open with their intent to seek the death penalty with Lori's relatives, the notice wasn't filed until now because her case was paused while she got mental health treatment, something a death penalty expert says could work in her favor in the trial.
The Lori Vallow case is back moving through the court system again after a nearly 10-month hiatus. She was in a state hospital in Idaho getting restorative treatment. Now, prosecutors say they're seeking the death penalty, just like with her co-defendant and husband, Chad Daybell. Michael Bailey, a former U.S. attorney for Arizona and an expert on death penalty cases, says without a doubt, her restorative treatment will play a factor in the trial.
Juries, I think, generally, if somebody is mentally ill, are not going to hold them accountable in the same way they would somebody who appears completely.
I have an issue with that. Because who commits these kinds of crimes and is not mentally ill? You know what I'm saying? Like the mental illness thing, I just throw that out. I have mental illness, so I could speak on that. And it's just, who does this that's in their right mind? No one. So if I was a juror, I'm going to already assume that you're crazy. You killed both of your children, your husband, and your new husband's wife. So what does it matter? I would absolutely not show any sort of mercy whatsoever. Because why? Were your children shown any mercy? At all? And I, just so you guys know, trigger warning here, but Tylee was dismembered. Okay. JJ was buried whole. There were only parts of Tylee found. And they attempted to burn her. Okay. they dismembered her and they attempted to burn her, but there were parts of her that were found. So, with that said, I am going to, yeah, Lisa, me as well. I would love to be in a room for just 2 minutes with that woman alone. But I am going to end this here. We're going to resume it tomorrow. Actually, I don't know. If we have time today and if I look through and get some stuff together, I may go live later. I don't know. But if not, definitely tomorrow we're going to get back into this and we're going to start going through the text messages and you guys are going to see the underside of really what this is all about. So, okay. Thank you guys all for being here. Mal, again, thank you for becoming a member. And Linda, let me ask you, did you see my members only video? I don't know if you did. Because I did do one last night, but I didn't know if you saw it. So, but anyway, it is a very interesting case, and we're going to be following this because hopefully we're going to be going to trial soon and see these monsters be put away forever. Definitely dangers to society. Okay. All right, guys. So have a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.